Hi, I'm Shane with Wedding Win, where we connect you with the best vendors in the area. And today I'm joined with Stefanyie and Elliot from Heart to Heart Photography. Stefanyie, Elliot, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
So Stefanyie, Elliot, what got you guys into the photography business?
So for myself, my aunt always kind of like had a camera around and was photographing all the memories of our lives. So photography was always really important to me. And so as I grew older, I was always capturing moments around. And so friends and loved ones would start asking me to photograph special moments for them and their weddings, their maternity, whatever they wanted. And it just became a bigger passion for me. So I decided to do a business out of it.
And for me, I just married a photographer, so I just kind of fell into it. Turned out to be a great decision, though, because watching her grow and develop in her skill has really been a blessing to our family.
So how long have you guys been doing wedding photography?
I've been doing it for over 20 years and about 8 years.
I'm close to a decade or so with Stefanyie. I've been her second shooter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right on. So how would you describe Heart to Heart's photography style?
So I'm generally kind of rustic, romantic, very intimate. I'm all about using my environment to enhance whatever I'm shooting. And I really like to capture the personalities of my clients.
Awesome. And what sets you guys apart from other companies?
So I'm all in. I'm literally all heart with everything that I do. I want to help you with every part and aspect of your photography experience. I will help you with your timeline, designing your schedule for the day. You'll also receive it's a digital tips guide that I give my clients. So it's tips and tricks on how to enhance the photography experience. So all the things that I wish you knew that you didn't know that you needed to know. So there's wardrobe tips, ceremony tips, reception tips on just how to enhance their wedding photography experience. So I kind of do a little bit of wedding planning-ish within the photography experience for all of my clients.
We also work very well together as a team.
Yes.
I have no problem just taking lead from my wife, and I'm just there to support her and also take lead whenever necessary. And we just bounce off each other so well that it just seems like a very natural fit for us to be there.
That's true.
Awesome. And do you guys do engagement photos as well and any
Yeah.
other type of photos?
So in the wedding aspect, I offer engagement sessions and weddings, obviously. I've also just started offering boudoir sessions in my studio, which are a lot of fun. You can do them individually. You can do as a couple. You can do a bridal boudoir, or you can do a regular boudoir. My style boudoir is modest and sexy. It's really about embracing the beauty of the woman. And then engagement sessions are really great if you want to get that comfort level with us as your team, especially me as the lead photographer, because I do most of the posing. So with our engagement session, we'll really get comfortable with each other and allow you to feel comfortable behind the camera, because sometimes it feels a little awkward being behind the camera, but you can just really loosen up and be more comfortable on your wedding day.
Awesome. So you do engagement photos, wedding photos, boudoir, and I know you also do like newborn photography.
I do, yeah. So I have an in-home residential studio where I offer a variety of services. So I can do maternity, newborn, 1-year cake smash, children, families. And the really unique thing about my studio is I'm an all-inclusive service. So my client closet is huge of what you can access. Wardrobe, props, sets, backdrops, everything that you need. So if you came to my session with your family for a newborn session, let's say, I'm going to completely wardrobe you, your wife, and all of your children. So it's a really huge stress reliever when you're coming in. Even in my boudoir sessions as well, 90% of the wardrobe is available for my clients to use, that they only have to provide intimates that they want personalized.
And I can attest to that because we had about 50 dresses to choose from, and my wife picked like 3 of her favorite, and they looked fantastic.
Yeah, and now I honestly have about 200 options.
Wow.
My wardrobe is huge now.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
and a huge variety of styles, colors, and whether it be from intimate looking stuff to classic to professional to modern, whatever style you're looking for, I provide that huge variety. So there's really very little that you wouldn't be able to find that would be someone's style at my studio.
So what's your experience with different types of weddings?
Yeah, so we actually have started doing a variety of cultural weddings now, which have been really fun. I just really love learning about what different cultures like to incorporate into their day. It's fun when they do like stealing the groom's shoes and like little games that just kind of happen and they have to buy them back. I love incorporating the beautiful details of like East Indian weddings. Like the wardrobe is just spectacular, the details that come with it. And then just your classic stuff just from Canadian type weddings is super fun as well, because you can just do a huge variety of colors. It's really becoming trendy to do different suit colors and not necessarily sticking with the black and the white. And people are branching out into all different color schemes, and it's really fun to be a part of that trend.
Awesome. Now, can you share with me a really memorable engagement shoot that you've done?
So I actually just did an engagement shoot where the groom was in a wheelchair. And that was really fun to get my creative juices flowing on how to not make every photo look like he was sitting. So really just expanding that. He was able to weight bear, so we did do some standing poses of the two of them. But it was just really neat just doing something more creative and not that it was uncomfortable, but kind of going outside your comfort zone to try something new to expand your abilities and techniques is really cool to do.
So how do you guys collaborate with couples to understand their wedding vision?
So I love chatting with all of my couples and really listening to what their vision is for their day, and then explaining how I kind of do things. And I always say to my brides, if you love Pinterest and you're all about all these kinds of poses, feel free to share your Pinterest board and I'm going to put them on your set list and we'll personalize those details. If you're like, no, Stefanyie, take the wheel. I don't want to plan any of it. This is not my thing. Don't worry, I got your back. I have enough experience. I have a whole routine that I do. And then I also we can work as a team and give and take on what styles we want to kind of roll with. I love learning new things and expanding my skills for my clients.
We also have a really good time of once we get on location of just reading the area and seeing what we can do in the area in terms of moving this out of the way or bringing this over here and just using what's around us to really also encapsulate the vision of the wedding.
So how do you guys ensure all the key moments on the wedding day are captured?
So when I do their timeline for their wedding day, I always ask them, what are the most important moments to you? And I make sure that I give them enough time to capture everything that they need. And just really, if I'm there the day of a wedding and I kind of notice some things falling out of line, I'll always communicate to the couple, give tips and suggestions, or ask how I can help. If I got to go talk to the venue and be like, hey, things are kind of running behind. These are the things that are really important while I'm still here. What can we do to try to make sure that we get everything captured that the client wants?
Can you describe a particular challenging wedding that you had that you actually shot beautifully?
Yeah, so I had a wedding in November this past year where, of course, you've got climate things you have to worry about. You have to plan the day around the lighting outdoors. So everything has to be moved up earlier, because if you're having a 4 o'clock ceremony and the sun sets at 5 o'clock, you obviously can't do all your photos afterwards. So I helped them plan all of that. So we made sure that we went to these beautiful locations. We have just spectacular, spectacular photos of their wedding day. And then at their reception, actually, things were getting quite behind. So we just kind of communicated and talked about it and worked things around and moved the schedule around so that we could make sure we could get all of the parent dances and everything like that. So we just had to relocate where they were going to be because they couldn't tear down the tables anymore for timing purposes. So we'll always kind of just adapt to whatever has to get done for the day to make sure it all still happens.
And do you guys have any specific type of equipment that you guys use?
So we just made the full switch to Sony, actually. I really love the capabilities that it can do, especially in low lighting situations that can happen in a lot of wedding venues. It's really great. This year, we're going to be introducing some extra off-camera lighting to just really help enhance any atmosphere that we're in.
Now, how do you guys stay up to date with all the latest technology?
Constant sell this and buy that.
Yeah.
Upgrading that way, yes.
Yeah, it's always, I find every year I always tell myself I'm going to set a budget on equipment, and I always end up spending more because I want to do this. Every year that I'm in business, I set new goals for myself on things I want to learn. So this year, like I said, we're going to be adding some off-camera lighting. So I'm really excited to just expand in those ways and be able to offer more variety of what we do for our clients.
So the off-camera lighting, so that's for like a really dark venue? Is that what
It's
for?
just to give almost like a spotlight on the subjects kind of feel, so that there's just more lighting and it's a little bit more depth of field and a little bit more mood and tone over it just being a flat lighting.
What does your post-production process look like?
So when I'm shooting, I never limit the number of photos that I take or that I edit. I'm very trigger happy and I'm emotionally attached to my photos. So that just means my clients get a lot of photos and a lot of selections. But when I'm actually in the office editing, I go through every single photo. Now, when I'm shooting, I try to get as much as I can straight out of camera, ready to roll. So that doesn't mean necessarily that every photo needs to be edited, but the ones that I want to edit or need some assistance, I take the time to hand edit them. I call through all of the images. I use some things called actions. A lot of people would call them filters. And you'll get a variety of colors and tones and moods on a handful of my favorite photos to just really kind of enhance anything that I want. I do find for weddings, the turnaround I say is about 8 to 12 weeks, depending on what time of the year we're in. If we're in busy wedding season, it's closer to the 12 weeks. I try to keep it under about 8 weeks or less is my goal.
Okay. Do you offer like sneak peeks?
I can't count how many times I offer sneak peeks that day of the wedding. So usually I would say 99% of the time when I come home, I am dumping those cards right away. I want those photos safe and secure and backed up, and I'm too excited and I want to start playing in the photos. And I always dump my favorite card first so that while the other cards are dumping, I can start editing in sneak peeks. I don't know how many times I send congratulations on Facebook to them and I hope you're enjoying your reception, and I'm already sending them sneak peeks of their wedding day. But if it's not that day, it's within a couple of days. And then as I'm editing throughout the process, I'm sending more sneak peeks and giving them more excitement along the way.
Wow. So how do you make couples feel comfortable in front of the camera?
Yeah, so I have a bunch of little tricks that I use. I'm not going to share exactly all of them because I don't want people to know my heads up so that I can get the natural laughs and candid moments. But I really get to know people and build that relationship. I'm very personable. I've actually built a lot of friendships with a bunch of my clients. I have a client coming for a newborn session shortly, and this is going to be their 7th session with me, and I've been shooting them since their wedding. I've done 3 maternity sessions and now their 3rd newborn session. So it's great just continuing to tell those stories of my clients. I'm just, like I said, my business name is perfect for me because my heart is all into everything that I do.
You know, it also helps that we're really friendly when we're on location or on site with everybody who's involved. Sometimes the groomsmen and myself, we might be too many jokes going on, but then Stephanie's there to quickly get us back on track. And, she's the mother of 6 children, so she's really good at wrangling us groomsmen back into, okay, guys, it's time for some more pictures.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where I've had to use my mothering skills on some groomsmen having a little too much fun, and the bride's been very thankful that I've been able to wrangle them back in. So yeah, it's worked really well.
Those are important to have, those skills. Yeah. So do you guys offer different packages for weddings and engagements?
So I really like to personalize my wedding collections. So what I do is people go to my website, which is heartheartphotography.com. On the homepage, it says wedding quote inquiry. They click that, fill out my questionnaire, and I design a custom quote for them. So I figure out how many hours they need based on what moments they want captured for their day. Do you want getting ready photos? Do you want a parent reveal? Do you want a bride and groom reveal? Do you want to start at the ceremony? What is it that you want? Tell me that vision, and then I'll design a timeline to help you capture those days and then design a custom quote for you.
So you can get them to the couple as quick as 8 weeks?
Yes, I try really hard to get them as fast as I can. My husband can attest that I practically live in the office. I'm so dedicated to my clients that sometimes he'd be like, hey, we miss you, come out here. That's kind of a little bit of a downside of having a home office, but it just allows me to really dedicate time when I've got it to get in. I just want to get my clients their stuff as fast as I possibly can.
Wow. So how do they get it? Like, is it USB? Is it online? Like, how does it deliver?
So many of our packages will come with what's called our wood keepsake box. And it's this beautiful wood box that has a mini bride book with 10 highlights of their day, the wooden USB with all of their images. They're all edited, high resolution. They own the rights to do what they want with them. They also get a thank you card template, which is a collage of 6 of their photos that they can print or send to their guests as a thank you card. So majority of our packages come with that. If they don't want a collection that includes that, they will get a digital link download.
So the book, it's like a printed images?
It's an accordion book. It's a really cute accordion book. It's super cute. I really get a lot of feedback on how lovely it is. And then it has their photos on the cover as well, their name, their date, that kind of stuff. So it's really personalized to every wedding that I do.
Oh, great. All right. Can you guys share some feedback of like past customers' testimonials?
So I just received a thank you card. I did a wedding December 9th, and within a week or two, I already had a thank you card from the bride thanking me so much for her experience, how amazing the sneak peeks already were, and how excited she is to get all the photos. And it had only been, honestly, I think a week after her wedding, she was already sharing her excitement.
Oh, wow.
It's a testament to when the bride and grooms become friends with us. You know, after we do a really good job and we leave there, and the bride and groom are very happy, and you can tell that there's some high excitement and still some energy in the room. And after they get their pictures, you know, just a testament that we're now friends on social media goes to speak to the...
And often the wedding party will want to, you know, send friend requests as well. And,
Yes.
and I end up telling other stories from people in the wedding party. I do their maternity photos down the road. Like, and I still have these relationships, you know, social media relationships, but it's still cool. I get to tell all these different stories. I even photographed twin sisters once. They had, you know, they got married in the same year, and I did both their weddings. And so it's really neat just being able to be diverse like that.
Okay. What has been the most challenging wedding shoot you've ever done, and how did you handle it?
The top of my mind is we had the power go out at the venue.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
For 3 hours, but
And
you didn't know when it was going to
And
come
it
on.
was so hot outside.
It was an August wedding.
Yes. And it just became very uncomfortable in terms of heat. And
There was no air conditioning. There was no lighting.
Yeah. So
There was no power for the food. There was no power for music. We were going to have our portrait photo booth later that day, and we didn't know if there was going to be power to do it. So that was an interesting one to learn to adapt. So we just had a conversation with the bride and groom and made a makeshift photo booth with the daylight. In case we couldn't do it later, we used our cute wood frames, and we really just adapted. We were all sweating like crazy, but you know, that was an interesting one to have to work around.
Somebody in the wedding party had a radio that they even brought out, and they were the own
little
DJ.
Boise speaker, just so there was some kind of music.
So you wouldn't have had a job that night because you had no
Yeah,
power.
yeah, it was quite an interesting one to
Yeah.
have to work around. Like for everybody in the wedding, it wasn't just the photography that had to adapt. The venue had to, because the whole city was out.
Wow.
It wasn't just
like
the venue,
a
like
large portion
a
of
large
it.
portion of the
Yeah.
city. And they didn't have an estimated ETA, but it ended up being 3 hours without power. And this was at a ski resort where the guests were zip lining.
Oh, geez.
And then there was like no power. So like it was a really interesting challenge that had come up that we were able to adapt and make sure we still got those memories for the client.
Okay. You mentioned something really cool. You do a portrait photo booth?
Yeah, so my portrait photo booth is very different. So what I do is I come with a backdrop and my studio lights, fun and classy props. So the guests can actually have professional portraits and prop photos taken. It's not one or the other. I find I do 50-50 props and portraits. I find the little kids to the seniors, and everybody in between loves to come. My photo booth's usually open for 2 hours, and it is busy the whole time. I have these really awesome vintage wood frames that I find that couples, groups, and families love to be framed in to have their photo. It's probably the most popular prop out of everything that we have. Now with the photo booth though, we don't print on site because we want the guests to enjoy the wedding day and not worry about the printout and it gets left behind and then the venue throws it out. So what we do is we have a monitor display for everyone to enjoy the images, and then the bride and groom are going to receive the images on their USB or their digital download, and they print or email and send them as a thank you card. So it's a keepsake over the novelty, but it's still so much fun. I'm shooting live the whole time. He's going up to tables.
Yes, I was trying to get a chance to say that, but I was going to be like, yes, I go around to the tables and be like, okay, guys, it's your table's turn. Come on up, because you find at the very beginning of the reception, everybody is a little hesitant to come up to the photo booth and get into it. So once the other tables see how much fun it is, then I don't have to go around anymore. But yeah, I have no problem going around and getting people involved and having fun in the night.
Yeah, it's super fun. So, and I also love when I'm at the reception, I love going around to all the tables and getting like couple shots and group shots and I really try my hardest to get every guest depending on how many hours I'm there. If I'm there your full reception coverage for about 3 hours, I really try hard to get every single photo of one of your guests.
So Elliot, what is your most memorable moment?
You know, we've definitely had some good ones over the years, but I would have to say my most memorable moment is actually more of when I see Stefanyie doing her job and I just see how much joy is on her face.
Yes.
You know, I don't necessarily mean to suck up to my wife right now, but I will say, I never knew what it was going to be like marrying a photographer at the beginning. And there's definitely been some challenges, but I would have to say she herself has been the most memorable moment of the weddings that I've been to with her. Sorry, your other brides.
Happily married with 6 kids.
So how do you plan to grow or evolve in the field of wedding photography or just photography in general?
So every year I always set goals for myself for my business. So whether, like my goals this year is I want to try shooting a few other different styles. I want to do light and airy, dark and moody, and just kind of like really provide a variety for my clients. I also, like I said, I want to expand with the off-camera lighting. So I set different goals for myself every year. In my studio, I'm always doing new creative stuff. I've got some fun little things under my hat that I'm going to be releasing sometime this year. So make sure you follow us on social media at Heart to Heart Photos, on Instagram and on Facebook at Heart to Heart Photography, because we're going to be releasing. But I've done, even in my studio, I get creative, and I did ballerina minis, and I made a music box for the little girls to stand on as they dress like a ballerina, and it looked like they were a music box toy.
Oh, that's cool.
So like I just really try to get creative as far as the weddings go. I just love, in any session that I do, I always say to my clients, share any inspo that you like. And then I want to work with what their vision is on top of my style and my expertise and merging them all together to make everyone get the visions that they want.
So are there any new trends or techniques that you're really excited about?
So I've been investing a lot in equipment and editing stuff this year. So I'm learning some new stuff that I'm excited to actually save me time so I can spend more time with my family, but still help give that dedication to my clients. So I'm really excited for that. The trends I'm kind of seeing is just everybody really personalizing their wedding day on what they want it to be. You're not necessarily always seeing these banquet halls. You're seeing the barn venues. You're seeing the backyard weddings. You're seeing elopements. You're seeing hotels. Like, it's just this nice variety that I just really appreciate seeing that trend of personalization that's happening.
You mentioned boudoir, which I've heard of, but what is bridal boudoir?
So with the bridal boudoir, what I like to do is incorporate some of their bridal pieces. So it could be their veil, their hair piece, garters, different things like that. And then, doing some white lingerie or cream lingerie and really kind of focusing on the intimate details of the wedding accessories. I would love to incorporate, like a nice fitted wedding dress to, you can come back after you've already been married and do a bridal boudoir. In my regular studio boudoirs as well, I love incorporating oversized sweaters with bare legs and heels. Like it can be modest and sexy. It doesn't have to be something that's uncomfortable for people. I really want women to feel comfortable in their own bodies. I've lost over 50 pounds in the last year myself. So I'm really learning to embrace my own body. And I want women to just really know how beautiful that they are, and that we can do that through photography. We can just really create this nice relationship of the beauty of who the woman is. And of course, you can include your partner and have fun, sexy, fun stuff too.
So the bridal boudoir, is that before the wedding or after the wedding?
So most people would do the bridal boudoir before. Some like to do it as a gift on the wedding day.
That's a good idea.
I haven't experienced this myself, but I've heard some other friend photographers who've talked about the bride gives an album on the wedding day to the groom of their bridal. The groom gets a little bashful opening it because mom's standing around or something like that. And that's kind of fun. It's just really fun to incorporate these personalized details. I mean, you spend a lot of time planning and designing what you want. Even on your wedding day, I love shooting the details. So your rings, your flowers, your shoes, your dress, all these things that you're spending a lot of time and investment on to create this vision that you want, I want you to have the memories of those details.
Stefanyie, Elliot, thank you very much for joining us here on Wedding Win. If you guys at home want to visit their website is hearttoheartphotography.com, and you can visit their profile on weddingwin.ca.